Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Behind the Counter, presented by Kaistrang. I'm your host, Vicente Yañez. This is the podcast where we take you behind the scenes of retail technology to talk about trends, insights, directly from the people who live and breathe this on every day. So, losing your network or your internet connection can be catastrophic for a convenience store.
Of course.
The registers freeze, the kitchen displays go blank, and the convenience of a C-store vanishes entirely. But at Royal Farms, the lights stay on, the devices keep running, and the legendary fried chicken keeps moving. Our guest today is the architect behind that resiliency, Jesse Wolcott, Director of IT at Royal Farms. How are you, Jesse?
Doing great, having a great show.
Awesome. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
So, this one probably is the most important question
Sure.
here. I found this when I was reading about you in preparation for this podcast, that you've been on other conversations and other interviews talk about the transition between cloud to edge.
Of course.
And I am a firm believer of that because I've worked in so many projects in which
Sure.
that strategy gets lost because of the trendiness of it.
It does. So the most important message about cloud versus edge is use the tool that is the correct one for whatever you're doing, right?
Agreed.
Technology is a lever.
Yes.
And if you view everything as a sledgehammer and you say everything goes cloud, you're going to miss some things. If everything is edge, you're going to miss some things. So it's incumbent on us as leaders to be able to use the best tool for the job and for us to really shepherd the business in the correct direction, not whatever hopes and feels are, to actually evaluate the products and make sure you're using your incredibly specific knowledge of the business to be able to use a scalpel and not a sledgehammer.
I like that perspective because in technology, and we see it here in these kind of events, in which the flashy technology is always at the forefront of the conversations, right?
Yes.
Like, let me show you these super crazy ideas.
Yeah.
And developers and engineering side, we see it and it's like, oh, I want to play with it.
Yeah.
But then you have to balance that out with real work.
Yes.
Like, how do you do that as a leader in a group for IT? Because it's an organization that includes not
Sure.
just development, right?
Yeah.
You have to deal all the way out to the implementation in the stores.
The hardest part is to balance your natural skepticism
Okay.
and say all of this is terrible and you guys don't know what you're talking about, with a healthy curiosity to say, what can this do?
Right.
The fortunate / unfortunate part of the C-store industry is that we're incredibly value driven, right?
Yes.
So whereas if you have an insurance company where they may have this large a group of employees that are all knowledge workers and they all have a laptop and there's a specific use case for things that are AI agents and all these other things, there's wide swaths of my employee bases that don't touch a computer, and when they do, it's a specific curated point of sale experience.
Right.
So where does AI fit? And obviously this year, AI is everywhere.
Yep.
How can AI fix world hunger, right?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
The answer to that is much deeper than a boxed product, and that's something that the sales folks here don't want to hear, right?
No, but you're absolutely
We
right.
have to be able to develop these solutions that use the back-end infrastructure that honestly a lot of these products are using
Yes.
to be able to do anomaly detection and data aggregation
Right.
and doing the things that human beings are terrible at.
Yep.
We can use AI and use that as a lever to be able to offer our customers a better experience.
Yep.
And that's the trick. So balancing that skepticism and saying, what does your boxed product do? Because they have a square peg and they
Right.
want to fit it in a round
Right.
hole, and it's like, I don't know.
And that critical thinking is about AI specifically.
For sure.
For the past couple of years, everyone has been trying to figure out, okay, we have this incredible toy.
There's nothing it can't do.
Yeah. Well, my response to that one is, if you tell me that means exactly the same as if you told me it doesn't do anything.
Of course.
Because if you cannot tell me specific one thing in
Yes.
which it can be
Yes.
useful, then the use cases do not exist.
If you want to defeat any AI company here, all you have to do is say, if yours is the best, why is your booth so small? And they get very self-conscious about it. If you guys were the best thing, you'd have a bigger booth. I don't know.
We were having that conversation among the team because we were comparing Ubers. So we were having like, my Uber was better than your Uber.
Yeah.
And I think we still win because we had this one that had like disco balls and
Yeah.
lights and stuff like, okay, yeah, ours is the best. But a lot of my skepticism with AI is trying to find out where AI is actually needed.
Sure.
Not where it can help,
Yes.
where it's needed.
Yes.
Just because it can help doesn't mean that I'm going to throw it at there, because
Yes.
there's so many ways in which I can do that for lower cost, faster. I don't have to invest $20,000 on a single blade for
Yes.
each one of my stores out there.
Yes.
Like, that's the real world.
The way that I sort of tackle any problem that we have,
Right.
AI or not,
Right.
is because there's automation, there's old school, just script the thing or integrate the thing.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have to AI everything. It's a tool.
Yep.
Is you have to really examine the entirety of the business operations, and you work closely with your ops leaders and your HR
Yes.
leaders and your marketing leaders, and say, what hurts the most?
Yep.
Right? If our business is a human body, what's bleeding?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Before we tackle the headache, we tackle the heart attack.
Right.
Right? So if we have this tremendous pain point, we have to attack that and really use every tool out there. Half of my job is research.
Yes.
What
yes.
vetting products, cutting through the
noise,
the sales pitch.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
And saying, I don't think you know what that word means, and you just said it 83 times in this 15-minute call. Right. So really knowing what you know for your business and evaluating what they're saying, and I hate to say it this way, being the garbage filter for the entire business.
Yeah. I garbage filter perhaps is a
strong language.
No, it's the most accurate definition that I have heard, because it's not, you didn't sugarcoat it. That's what it is. I mean, you have to filter through all of that
Yes.
garbage pitch just to get through the thing. You mentioned something that I like a lot, that you bring in your business people, your operations people, your home office people, each one of these teams. I have personally found that having buy-in from the whole organization,
Yes.
because we all are agreeing that this is what we need,
Yes.
is the best way to drive each one of these projects. I've been in both, where everyone is aligned and
Yes.
when you had to fight every single step of the way to get in.
One of the things that I pride myself in is that sort of the old school mentality of IT is, no, we're not doing it, and don't ask.
Yes.
And that sort of iron fist managed by no, what it gets you in 2026 is that HR has a product stack that they just bought, and finance has a product stack that they just bought, and then IT is always caught sort of managing this stack of applications because we always have to.
Yes.
There's no way around it.
Yes.
So, and it goes back to letting the tech run the business, which is what we've had for so long, specifically in the point of sale space.
Right.
We're limited by what our platform allows.
Correct.
Right. So now when we see it in the next generation point of sale, they're so modular, or at least those things exist to be able to say to the business, what do you need?
Right. Right.
So we can get the best in breed products
Yep.
to let our customers tell us what they want, and
Yep.
for us to deliver that, right? So for me, being able to do the things on the face of the business operations, right? I had one of my engineers make the Mary Chef ovens, and our food operations team needed to send in menu changes and get a menu change. Well, one of my guys made a menu editor for them.
Right. Right.
And like, we talk XML. It's fine. This is a common format. We can do this.
Yep.
This is digestible. It's
Yep.
fine. And we add value to the business in a way that is extremely apparent to them. And the more wins that we get to their everyday problems, when we come to them with things that are completely outside of their understanding,
Sure.
their desire, that there's an organization trust that we've built up through listening and addressing their problems, that they say, if Jesse's saying we need this, we probably need this. And that's the integration with the business is so important in that space, especially as things get wilder with AI.
But this is fantastic, because that secret sauce that you just mentioned is actually backwards of what normal IT is.
Of course.
Like, I'm not going to be sitting here. Well, yes, I guess. But sitting here waiting for what you need. Like, I'm creating this
Yes.
bond first in which I help you
Yes.
before I tell you, hey, we need this thing. What do you think?
Yes.
Because I agree. AI is accelerating a lot of stuff in all kinds of areas. Not just in hands-on development, throwing lines of code, but also decision making.
Yes.
Just because it exists.
Yeah.
Not because AI is taking the decisions for anyone, just like we need to hurry to get there.
Executive leadership is being bombarded from all directions
Yes.
by AI products.
Yep.
And if you're not all the way into technology, it's very easy to be sort of snowed about what a good product is, and it's very easy to be sold a bill of goods about how we're going to benefit from this product. And there's been a few products that they've sold the boss on, and I say immediately I don't understand what the use case is for this. And because they sort of jumped the process, right? Little things like, how do I get data out of this? There's no API layer, there's no SSO.
Right.
This would have never passed, but the boss says we're doing this. Okay, right? And so being able to have that organizational trust, and I know when my marketing team has problems, or at least I hope, they have proven so, that when they say, I need to do this, that they're going to loop me in because they know that I have the business best interest at heart, and that I hear them.
That you're driving your IT organization from a business viewpoint, from a care of the business, which in the end is always translates to care of your customers.
Of course.
Because we're always back to people. I keep repeating this in the podcast, and probably people watching this are like, he goes again. Because we do technology for people. Either internal people, customer people, or our associates.
Yes.
So it's always people.
When we have our all-hands meeting, my other departments, the other departments stand up and have a slideshow, and I stand up and I say, what do you got for me?
Okay.
What sucks?
Right.
Right. And one of our stores in Delaware, I've been doing this every quarter for 2.5 years, and they said, our internet is really, really bad.
Okay.
And I said, tell me more.
Right.
They had 2 cell connections. They were terrible. I got a fiber line dropped in there the next week. I didn't know about it. Right? The kiss of death in any tech space is suffering in silence.
Yes.
And being able to bridge that gap with the business is the only way, because those people live it every day.
Yeah.
And they have to know that you're advocating for them.
Yep.
And they have to be in constant communication with you, because you can't manage hundreds of sites at once. I don't know, right? Do I have terrible cell signal in a store? Then how can they use the app?
Yeah.
How can our customers use the app, right? If we are telling our associates that they have to drive loyalty, they need to drive 2-pack offers and all these things, but there's no cell service in the store.
How can you offer dynamism, any of the new promises, anything?
How on earth can we hold them accountable if the app doesn't work in the store?
And from a store associate, if you're told that, you're going to give it a try, right? You're going to tell your customers, hey, pull up the app and let me walk you through it. You're going to do it once. And if the customer gets frustrated because it's been 3 minutes and the thing doesn't load, it's not downloading, it's just slow, it's like, you know what, I'll do it next time.
And they never do.
And the cashier eventually is just going to stop asking.
Yes.
Right? Because why? Why do I put my customers to this suffering?
Yes.
I want them to be as fast and get out of here as possible because that's what they want.
Yes.
Right? So,
and our people in the stores, right? They are the heart and soul of our business.
100%.
Those people work so hard.
Yes.
And we give them so many things to do, and they just do it. Bless them. I set up, when we have our all-hands meeting, I say, without you guys, there is no me.
Yeah.
And without you talking to me constantly, I said, if you have a problem in your store, email me.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah.
If I don't email you back in 3 days, email me again.
Yeah.
Like, stay on me. The reason I'm here is you.
Yeah.
If you guys can't do your job, then I'm not doing my job.
Working in a project, that tech modernization project, this was a lesson I learned several years ago from one of my older mentors that had that mentality, right? Retail chain. And I was proposing this change in architectures and data integration, like we can do this thing. And he asked me this and it riled me, like even today, like you are asking now, like it's a good architecture. It's a good solution. This is gonna work, but be mindful that you are asking this team now to have a dev shop in hand, to have an IT organization they didn't have before.
Yes.
And I think the same translates whenever we come up with a new flow, with a new feature. What am I asking the cashier to do with this thing?
Yes.
Like truly, how is this going to impact them? Because in my machine, in my desk, in my dev box, this looks fantastic. This button looks great. This flow works because I know what I'm doing.
Of course.
But out there, what does this mean for the cashier?
There is always the walk of the customer should always be our North Star.
100%,
and whether that customer is our retail customers or whether that customer is our internal folks that have to use the technology every day.
Yes.
When I hear our leadership say, well, the employees just have to, well, they're not going to, right? So how do we fix that as their support staff?
Yep.
Right? If there's too many buttons on the screen and they're jamming through the same sequence every time, we have to make it better.
Yeah.
It's incumbent on us to make it better.
Yep.
If the thing sucks, make it not suck.
Yeah.
Right? If it takes too long to roll a truck there, how do we build more redundant systems?
Yep.
And that's part of my journey is how do we make the store self-healing? How do we, build a network stack that can sustain a lightning strike? How do we build these systems so that there are fewer failures?
Yes.
And keep things going all the time, because if the stores have unreliable technology, they definitionally cannot do what we're asking them to do.
And in retail, convenience store, department, whatever, if we cannot sell, we don't have a store,
There's
no one
reason
has
for
a
us to
job.
be there.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
For sure.
And you bring in the lightning strike, but you have also talked about the realities of having technology in the field.
Yes.
Because that's something that, from a technology standpoint, rarely think about.
Yeah.
Right? We look at these devices here in the combinations and the screens and anything like, okay, how is this going to fare in a kitchen that is consistently 90 degrees Fahrenheit in temperature? How is it going to work whenever someone is like touching it with a greasy hand because they're working?
Or it's 3 feet from a deep fryer, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And they said, well, it's a sealed device. I assure you there is grease getting in there.
Yes.
And one of the things that I do that throws off people at this particular show is that the people will have a device, and I go, oh, that's cool. Well can it take a punch?
Yeah.
And they said,
no, seriously.
I'm from Baltimore. I love my city. It's not always a nice city.
Yeah.
If we had one of those little robots going around mopping the floors, I have very little confidence that thing would stay unharmed in some of our stores. And that's the nature of our business.
Yeah.
Right? We are where the people are. And sometimes those neighborhoods are not great.
Jokingly, in a desk job, we say like, oh, this is, they just punch the screen. But out there might be someone that actually needs it. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying it could happen.
My support center are some of my favorite people in the world, because I'll wake up, they start at 5 a.m., and I'll wake up sometimes and have some video clips from surveillance that are
interesting, to say the least.
Things that my counterparts in other industries have never had to handle. How do we repair a gas pump because someone drove a truck in that was on fire, and the gas canopy was on fire? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But punched out screens, that's not even uncommon, right? That's, someone punched out the screen. Okay, fine, right? So there's an inventory scanner thing that they're selling somewhere where it's like a little device that shuttles across the top of your racks. And I go, what happens if somebody punches that, right? Why would somebody punch that? I don't know. Why would someone drive a truck that's on fire next to a gas pump? People do things, right? And how precious is this technology outside of a show floor? Yes. It's a big deal. So, yeah.
And circling back to the edge stuff, like a lot of these technologies need to be thought for that environment.
Yes.
For the edge environment.
Uh-huh.
I personally am a great advocate of that. Like, it works on cloud, it should work. There is nothing that prevents you from figuring out how to work in an edge environment.
Sure.
Like, we have the technologies, right?
Absolutely.
If we were to talk about this in early 2000s, like, we need to reveal, create two binaries, figure it out. We have containerization today.
Yes.
There's no reason why you couldn't figure out edge.
Well, the strength on it with Edge is to have the hybrid model, really. And,
right.
And I'm gonna
right.
I'm gonna shout out Dover and Wayne as begrudgingly. DX Monitor is the gas pump, a sort of fuel dispenser monitoring system that they have, and they have DX Promote is the media engine that runs the new Anthem gas pumps, and those products, there's an edge component that goes to the cloud component, and it's like, okay, so we have a failover, and we have something locally, and we have something in the cloud that's taking advantage of the infrastructure that we have. Great.
Yeah.
That's what we should have, right? We're probably not going to get away from having devices on the edge, right? Gas pumps are tricky.
Yeah.
Right? We're not going to turn on a gas pump from the cloud. That's not how those things go. But
stormy day, you lose your internet, someone is driving by,
right,
needs to get home. What do you do if your cloud is down?
And the interesting thing is, if you say, well, this is a cloud-based app, so now we can't, you mean the internet's down, I have cash in my hand, right? And if I can't give somebody cash for the stuff, it's like somebody didn't think this business model through.
Correct.
So having that component of being able to run in some limited capacity without the internet, super important, whether that's cash only or whatever. So we just have to build for reliability, and nobody wants to get calls at 3 a.m. So we have to make sure that we build to stay in business.
To avoid that, yeah.
Absolutely. Using all the tools available to us.
I had a story that went to pick up a prescription at a store, and they asked if I wanted to check out there at the pharmacy.
Sure.
No, I had other stuff to pick up.
Yeah.
Between the pharmacy and the self-checkout, we pick up the things that we needed. By the time I got to the self-checkout, the network was down. Just the time that it took for them to finish processing the pharmacy to get to the self-checkout.
Yeah.
And I couldn't check out the prescription. They already flagged it on their side, but I couldn't pay for it. So we ended up here in this crazy situation. It was figured out, local store. Okay, you can come in and pay later. There is an honor system that very valuable, right? But why do you have to rely on that stuff, right? Should be very transparent for the associates and for the customer. Like maybe someone needs to know in the store, like, hey, we're having network issues, but don't worry, you are fine.
We've had in big data centers.
Sure.
We've had technologies to handle any amount of outage that you could potentially have for decades because it makes sense, right? And the coolest part of the last sort of 5 years of all the things that COVID took from us, some of the things that COVID gave us were this giant leap forward in edge computing having a bunch of the feature set that big data centers have. So out-of-band management, SD-WAN, highly available firewalls, all of these things that I'm pushing into the stores specifically to keep the stores up. They're things that 15 years ago we would have been priced out like crazy, right? So the idea of being able to have a reliable 5G network, my T-Mobile folks are amazing. They're not paying me for this, I promise I pay them. But being able to go from what is sort of the industry standard, which is having an active internet connection and sort of a backup, right? Moving towards an SD-WAN model, which is what are the things that are plaguing us? Well, our devices went down. Okay, so we fixed that by virtualizing, right? Now we've got virtual stuff. Our hardware stack is solid. Okay, now what happens? If a network device dies, we have an issue. Okay, highly available firewalls and managed switches. Okay, cool. That problem is solved. Now what do we have? Loyalty and credits offline. Okay.
How do we solve that?
Now we do SD-WAN. And solve that problem, right? So how do we fix these things? Okay, well now with SD-WAN, we can do intelligent PDU monitoring, so we can restart cable modems out in the in rural. So it's each step bringing us closer to more reliable through automation layers and sort of data center things that have existed forever that we can finally have in a brick and mortar small retail form factor.
But you know, the way you're describing it is not, to me, it doesn't sound like there is an actual end goal. This is an iterative process. Like you're discovering new ways in which it can be better, and then you go and take the next step. And you're always looking forward to, okay, what is the next thing that I can make it better, that I can fix, that I can address? Because there's new technologies coming out, new every day, all the time.
It's back to my analogy of the business as a human body, right? If we fix the heart attack, we fix the jugular bleed. Now we can look at the headache. Now we can look at my knee creaks when it's cold outside. We can look at these aches and pains that the business has because suddenly we've solved the major woes.
Right.
And now we move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And we're always in constant pursuit of providing a better customer experience. And whether that's internal or external customers, if we can provide a better service, it's incumbent on us that we do that.
What is the biggest friction point that is preventing everyone from adopting this?
There are some leaders that are not in it to always get better.
Okay.
I blame my Catholic upbringing and my grandmother. I'm never good enough, So yesterday I was on a panel here, and I can hear her voice in my head saying, "Oh, it was nice that you spoke. Maybe someday you'll get the stage to yourself." Right? Never good enough.
I know what exactly you're talking about. For me, it's my dad. I have that voice. Like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Never good enough, right?
Yeah.
So I was on a presentation at the biggest show in retail.
Yes.
Oh, but you were up on stage with other people. Okay, so we're never good enough, right? So the competitive advantage for me is that when we approach the goalposts, the goalposts move.
Yep.
Right? We always work towards what perfect is, knowing that between external forces, new technologies, changing customer preferences, we're never going to hit perfect.
Yeah.
And that's okay, right? How boring is perfect?
What do you do?
There's nothing to do.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it even from a user experience. If we think about a perfect store, there's nothing that would incite you to buy there.
Exactly.
Right?
It is. The reason I do technology is to solve problems.
Yes.
And the key part of that is identifying what those problems are. There's one of those sayings that says, if you can clearly write down what your problem is, you're 80% of the way there.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
And identifying the problem from the other business units inside of the company, and being able to use technology or some ancillary piece to say, maybe I can't affect menu updates, but I can enable the folks that do the menu updates to have the tooling they need to move quickly.
Right.
And that's important. That's another lever they have.
What do you think? What's one technology that you think is truly transformative versus one that is just hype? I mean, we already talked a little bit about AI and machine learning.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, boxed AI products are almost all hype. And the reason why I say that is because if you, Amazon uses sort of their spare compute inside of AWS with products like Bedrock. Llama to be able to interact. And if you do the exact same thing that some of these products do, but you write it yourself, it is fractions of a penny to do some of these things. So you see, if you build some of these things yourself, you get a real eye-opening experience about, you say, wow, these guys are charging 10,000% markup on this product that is so limited. Now, I don't have a development team. I just do this for fun, right? So being able to say, to go into a conversation with a vendor that sells an AI product and say, I know how you're doing this, and I know what it costs you. And I know that you wrote this in such a way that we are limited and it will not work for us. So it's incredibly empowering. So the hype of, I hate to say it because I know all these people paid for this show, but the idea that the bigger your booth is, probably the more limited your product is. And being able to take a product and dismantle it in your head live on a sales call because you understand what's under the hood, that's what makes it.
No, I'm with you. That's, we spend a lot of time talking with the providers to understand their architecture, right? Because in the end, from Kaizen, what we do is we talk with you guys to tell you, this is what's available, this is what works, this is what doesn't. This is what they have, which is what they don't, right? So you can make the decision. So I spend a lot of time talking with them, and exactly that. I haven't been in the development team for building cloud architecture systems, etc. Whenever we talk to this, then I can ask really good questions. I think what you're saying is that translates to leadership as well. That a leadership that is always trying to find out what's the next best thing by being hands-on on that. Not separated from it, because it's easy to fall into the fallacy that everything's working fine. Right, and I'm circling back to...
It's always not good enough.
Correct. and if you would know easily. If you don't know where to start, I think one way to do it is what you described. Talk to your field people. Ask them what's paining you.
God bless them. They'll tell you what's wrong.
Oh yes. One day I went to the store, and I don't know why that day I feel chatty, and I asked the cashier how she was doing, and she started telling me her concerns with her pay, and the way the store was managing hiring newer people at a higher rate. All of this. But I was not even part of her organizational structure, right? It was like a bartender phenomenon there going on. But it was, to me, very interesting to hear that people in the store, anyone, stocking, cashiers, backroom, general managers, they have a story to tell you, or something that you can improve and make better all the time. So just to kind of wrap up, if you had a blank check, like all the money in the world, what's the one problem that you would focus on today?
The itch that remains unscratched for me is the Internet of Things of the C-store world. And I'm not going to give away too much, but we are working on monitoring everything at all times in every way. And the reason that we're going to do that is we have a brand standard to maintain. And the hardest part is when you go into one of our stores that is a really strong store leader. And then you go into another one that doesn't. And you can tell. Right? So the boots on the ground of quality and really just staying after it, the store leaders, the district leaders need the data down to... one of the examples that I give all the time is one of my engineers is working on a sensor for toilet paper. He said, I didn't think I'd be making my fame
right there in the bathroom, right?
But if you look at what the business does, so the maintenance and repair lines that we have, our budgets, one of the biggest lines is plumbing. One of the biggest percentages of that is clogged toilets. And plumbers, bless their hearts, will tell you exactly what they pull out of a
Yeah.
toilet. Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody flushes a hat or a shirt or a sock because they want to and they're being malicious.
Yeah.
The reason they do that is because
there was no toilet paper. Yes.
Right? So do you waste the time of the employees by doing flight paths through the store and always checking it? Or do you put an IoT sensor in there with an ultrasonic sensor that can immediately and accurately tell you if one of the two rolls is out and send an alert?
You know, when I was in college, jokingly, we were, at the time of apps and all of this was happening, right? We were like, what if we create an app? The bathrooms in the schools, there are like bathrooms here and all the way across the campus. You need to go to the bathroom. This is the weirdest turn in the conversation right now. I'm talking about the bathrooms in my college. Anyway, we were joking, like, what if we come up with an app that can help us know what's going on, which stalls are used, which stalls, so I know efficiently which one I need to go when I need to go.
Yeah.
And it was a joke. But once I start working in retail, once I hear the stories, because, you know, family tells you, like, hey, you're in a field trip, and like, but that store never has toilet paper.
Yes.
Or the toilet paper is bad.
My wife is our biggest critic, right? So my kid we have pina colada, slushies. My kid, it's crazy for him, right? So everywhere we go, and obviously there's a bunch of our stores around my area, and my wife is always stopping in because my kid's always got to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, can we get a slushie while we're here, right? And she says, I'm at this store, bathrooms are tragic. I'm like, okay, I don't clean the bathrooms, honey, but thank you for telling me. I'll pass that on, right? But we're not going to put cameras in bathrooms, right? Because that's a little whatever.
But you don't need to. You have
don't
IoT.
need to, right? So if you have IoT sensors and you say, I have an ultrasonic sensor on the paper towels, I have a scale that measures the soap, I have a leak sensor, and I have an odor sensor.
Right.
Without the customer telling us, we can have a pretty good idea if something's going on in there, right? And there's a multitude of things, right? Like, we can measure the data coming out of the coffee pots. We can measure the fryers. We can measure HVAC. We can measure all of these things. And if you have one or two stores to watch, you can watch them with your eyes.
Yes.
If you have 315, that's a data problem.
Yes.
And no one can ingest 315 stores. And if you have a data set that is 200 sensors, you know, I'm thinking in the future here.
Yeah.
If we're measuring everything from our heat slide for the sandwiches to our chicken case to the coffee bar to the odors in the bathroom to the toilet paper, we need to know those anomalies.
And we need to make sense. First, we need to make sense out of that data.
Yeah.
And then know at which point something is an outlier, something is not what it's supposed to be.
The vision that I see for the future of our employees is taking away the need for them to lay eyes on a problem, right? So they can focus on the customer experience.
Yes.
And we don't have to check the receipt paper in the car wash pedestal, because we'll get an alert when it's low.
Because technology is there to make their lives easy.
So if they don't have to swing through the parking lot all the time, because we know exactly what we need to dispatch them. It's a sort of localized dispatch.
Sure.
Pie in the sky, right? And they can focus almost entirely on the guest experience.
Yep.
And that's going to be the power of the connected store in the future.
And to me,
there is empirical data that we can say your store is performing this way, that is outside of the brand standard, and we need to adjust it in this way. This employee didn't do this, we didn't validate this. Everything is a data point.
Yep.
And we can have that data have really great results because it's so specific.
Yes.
And that's the point.
That's a fantastic way of viewing it, because you're translating technology to brand, which in the end drives loyalty.
Yes.
If your experience at a specific store is always great, doesn't matter where you are.
Yes.
If you're traveling around the state and you know that you are going to be there.
Yes.
To me, loyalty doesn't start with your app or your rewards. It starts with that. How do I feel? What's the first thing that I think about? Yes, 100%.
Our owner tells a story about how him and his wife went on a road trip.
Sure.
And somewhere in the middle of the United States, they stopped at a Wendy's, and the bathroom is dirty, and now his wife will never stop at a Wendy's. Through the entire world, if she sees a Wendy's, immediately in her head that bathroom is dirty.
Yep.
And in her head, she knows that Chick-fil-A has clean bathrooms.
Yeah.
This is the story our boss tells.
It's a simple decision now.
And it's like, how do we turn the tides of whatever is bad, right? And maintain that long enough to change hearts and minds, to take over There is to be a generally favorable sentiment in the general populace.
Yes.
Throughout the country.
Yes.
And it sounds huge, but how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
I was just thinking that with this strong foundation on technology, this strong foundation on brand, this strong foundation on loyalty, from there is growth, business growth.
Absolutely.
I mean, to me, it's a line, a progression
Yes.
of things happening, the domino effect. Because I have this thing right, then everything is moving forward.
Yes. We build for scale.
Yes.
We build for brand reputation. Yes. We build sentiment. We have a consistent, great experience across the entire brand for as many locations as we have. And you know whether the building looks the same, whether the people are the same, wherever you are.
Yep.
And if I walk into a Royal Farms, I'm going to get my world famous chicken. I'm going to get the world's freshest cup of coffee. The bathrooms are going to be clean. The fuel pumps are going to work. And the people behind the counter are going to give me a great experience. And that's what we want.
That's fantastic. And I love that all of this is technology.
We have to look at it. We have to look at it in the scope of how can I affect the business, right?
Yeah.
And we use technology to further all of the spoken goals of the business. What's my part?
And you know, that question is not just yours. It's
of course.
Everyone.
Everybody.
Everyone.
Yes.
Every department, every person that works in technology.
Yes.
And this is a nice reminder for all of you guys out there, especially junior entry people that are very excited and excitable about technology.
Yes.
Know that technology is a great edge to have, something to put under your belt, but understanding how you use that technology and why you use that technology is what matters the most. That's a great difference.
Be careful you don't make solutions in search of a problem.
Yes, yes, I totally agree with that. Yeah, many times we've seen that over and over and over again. Jesse, I want to thank you very much for your time. This was a fantastic conversation.
Love it.
I love it. It's really great. Really great. I need to go and visit you guys.
We welcome you.
I love
get some chicken.
I love it. When I read like legendary chicken, like I want to try it. I mean, go for waves and I try all of the different places that have a chicken sandwich, and you'd end up comparing them.
Yes,
so
of course.
Now that I know that Royal Farms has chicken sandwiches, I've never been to a store, I'm going to go and have one.
Let me know the first one's on me, okay?
I'll send you a message.
All right, the first one's on me.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jesse, very much.
Of course.